I'm not sure. I keep seeing this connect thing. I need to go ahead and get this thing started. Trying out a few new things. Trying to actually see myself. Okay, there we go. Well, welcome everybody. This is the first video of this channel. This channel right now is called my name, Terry Williams. And what we're going to be going over is just unsolved mysteries, unresolved mysteries, true crime, things that just have happened in the world that may have been talked about, may not have been talked about. I just want to, after I read and learn a few things, and of course with you guys, I want to understand more what's happening, some of the things, the crazier things that's happening in this world. So I just want to talk about it more. And so this is going to be my first stream. Now, anybody that actually does come on here will probably realize that I am streaming at 1 o'clock in the morning. And that is because this is my first stream, so I want to get used to it. All right, so what I found was interesting. It was interesting. It was on, I found it on Reddit. It was pretty interesting. It was it's titled, "A 15-year-old girl was returning home from a birthday party late at night. According to her friends, she fell from a bridge, but neither could tell a consistent story. And in the years since, many independent witnesses could report seeing her in foreign countries." So saw this this post a couple days ago, and man, I couldn't imagine my child not coming home. I have little ones right now, so I couldn't imagine any of this right now. So this is going to be an interesting read, and it seems they've really put some thought into it. So I'm gonna start reading. I'll probably cut through some of it, talk a little bit, and then restart it back up. But yeah, that's how I want this thing to go. So, so the person's name was Barbara Vitez. Was born on August 13th, 2001, and sent to Serbia to Hungarian parents. It wasn't surprising that Zenta's proximity to the Hungarian border, she was described as a good kid, not problematic at all. And it says she did not fall into the wrong crowd. Basically, she didn't do any drugs, wasn't on alcohol, wasn't on any of that. She had an older brother, a group of friends, and by the age of 15, she was at the School of Economics and Trade. That is actually pretty impressive. And enrolled in September of 2016. She never missed a single lesson or a class. She was very studious. Okay, sounds like a good kid so far. On November 25th, 2016, two 17-year-old boys went into the police station to report an accident. They, together with a now 15-year-old Barbara, were returning home from the pizzeria, which recently hosted the birthday party of a mutual friend. Their route took them over a railroad bridge spanning over the Tisza River and connecting the towns of Senta and Čoka. Now, I don't know where these are, but I'm pretty sure people in that area do. It says Barbara tried passing in front of one of them and had to climb over the bridge railing to do so when she slipped and fell 10 meters into the water. Oh my God. While they were filing this report to the police, her parents were already worried since Barbara was late arriving home, and when they tried to call her, she wouldn't pick up. Before they could go and report her missing themselves, the police came and told them that something likely happened to Barbara. They told the story that the boys told. Ooh, yeah, that right there would be a nightmare for me as a parent. I couldn't imagine my kid going missing. I couldn't imagine not coming home at night. That's sort of sad already. Already, they thought that was odd. Barbara had a crippling fear of heights, so much so that she wouldn't even go in the attic, and instead have others retrieve what she needed for her. The thought of her climbing a ladder scared her so much that climbing up a railing of a bridge over a cold river in the middle of the night seemed very out of character. Okay, I can see where, this is interesting. Whether she fell by accident or was pushed, one thing remained the same. She likely fell into the river. Rescue teams spent the first 3 days searching the river, but any chances for her survival after the fall into the river with a temperature of 4 degrees Celsius was slim. What's 4 degrees Celsius? Probably like 40 degrees, probably. Somewhere close. In Fahrenheit. It says on November 29th, the local police received assistance from the Gendarmerie. I think that's how you pronounce that. Gendarmerie's, maybe that's it. Gendarmerie's diving unit. They searched the riverbed in case her body had somehow sunk, but no trace of her was found there either. Nothing was found on shore either. The police also employed sonar to scout the river, but the sonar failed to pick up on anything. By November 30th, the police knew her body had drifted far from the bridge, and so all fishermen in the nearby towns and villages were told to be on high alert, especially because her body would have likely bloated and floated to the surface by now. Dang. On December 1st, after her body failed to surface, the search was expanded to the Novobeche clan or dam, and they combed an additional 50 kilometers of the waterway and riverbank to Senta and Novi Bechik or Bechej. An additional number of anglers and fishermen were also employed to help them search even more of the waterway. Wow, wait. Okay, I see where the issues are coming in now, because how is nobody finding this girl? And the boy says she jumped off the bridge, fell. But then 10 meters is 30 feet, right? Or somewhere around there. Let's say 30 something feet. I'm trying to think of a basketball goal is 10 feet. 3 of those is probably how far she fell. And nobody went to go. And the boys didn't go save her. And she already had a fear of heights. I see where the issues are starting to come in. Okay. By December 12th, the police finally acted on her parents' suspicions. As mentioned, the boys told different stories about how exactly she fell. Some said she slipped from a railing, and others said she climbed up a ladder on the bridge to show off. Based on the bridge's design, she likely would have landed on the bridge's concrete supports. Whether there were 2, 3, or 4 boys was itself in dispute. The 2 were subjected to a polygraph test with a Serbian interpreter. Yeah, you can already tell things aren't right. That meant that the test was conducted in a language the investigators didn't speak, since they'd give their answers in Hungarian and have it translated to the police in Serbian. They passed the test. After her disappearance, they deleted her from their friends list on social media. On December 13th, while anxiously waiting for news on their daughter, her parents still had to check their mail. When they opened the mailbox, they saw that somebody had left a letter without an envelope or signature. That letter was from a so-called well-wisher who described what happened. They alleged that a third boy was present and that Barbara's Coca-Cola had been laced to immobilize her. Once done, they took her to a bridge where they proceeded to brutally R-word her. Oh, wow. Then this mystery third boy strangled her to death before she was thrown over the bridge's railing. The letter was handed over to the police, but nothing was left behind to identify its author. And besides, the police wrote it off as a hoax and seemingly did little to follow up regarding it. See, that's where I would have got mad, because I don't understand why we're not doing it. First, we need to bring them 2 boys back and figure out who this third boy is, because I feel like you're not questioning them for real. And I don't know where the interpreter or the language where all this got misconstrued at, but we need to figure this out. This about having children now would make me upset, because I couldn't imagine my child being lost and then we're like, hey, we got this. It's like, in a sense, you know how you see those movie scenes, and not to make it light of this situation at all, but you see those movie scenes where parents like lose their kids and whatnot, and then every little tip, it's like it sets the parents off right then and there. But this is real life, and having your kid gone, and there's nothing you can do about it. You don't have any leads, and then when you do get a lead, they say it's a hoax. They're worried about the interpreter now. So you don't know if these boys are playing games. That's where, it pissed me off right there. But let's keep reading. On December 21st, the police once again utilized 3D sonar technology, but came back empty-handed once more. Meanwhile, two boys heard the letter and willingly surrendered themselves for a second polygraph test. They came forward in response to the anonymous letter sent to Barbara's parents. The boys passed once more. The police did not let anyone outside of their parents, not even Barbara's family, witness the test. While they passed, they supposedly failed on some individual questions. Which ones were not disclosed. Her father was left skeptical as to whether the test even happened at all. Although exactly how they reached this conclusion is unknown. Her parents even hired experts of their own who ruled the polygraph test was administered improperly. Stop right there. That's what'll make me mad. And see, and these are different countries. So I'm not sure what the rules are. I don't understand the laws over there, but I do understand as a parent. I'm pretty sure, you say you would take different measures, but I don't know if that's the only kid. I don't care if that's my only kid. If I have multiple kids, I want that kid back. And to know something like this happened, and then they're missing questions, and the polygraph test wasn't done right. Got to keep it PG, but things would have to happen. By January 4th, 2017, after nearly 40 nonstop days, the search was finally called off. It was deemed infeasible to continue as the river completely froze during the winter. Barbara's father attempted to continue the search in other ways. He tried to obtain CCTV footage from the pizzeria and any other cameras in town. If Barbara appeared to be drugged in the footage, it could verify the letter's authenticity. Instead, the police simply dismissed him, didn't humor the suggestion, and bluntly told him that he had no right to a such thing. I wonder if those boys would, if they were the police's kids or something, because they're not even, it's like they're not even trying. It didn't stop with just the footage. Every time he went to the station, he asked for updates. He was told to leave and that he had no right to know of any developments. Barbara's father now had a severe distrust of the police, of course. If it was truly an accident, it would make little sense for the police to be so secretive about the investigation. Most of Senta's population agreed. On January 11th, he organized a protest of 100 people strong in the town square. An online petition was set up for those who couldn't attend in person, and it reached 1,000 signatures. Luckily, their efforts paid off. Less than a week later, Europol, no, there's a way to say that, because I hear this in movies. I'm probably butchering this, but Europol Europol began involved in the investigation. Okay, they got an investigation, let's just put it like that. And the Serbian police issued a yellow notice with Interpol. Oh, Europol and Interpol must be two different things. Okay. Yellow notice with Interpol. I need to look that up, but I'll keep reading the story for now. The director of their local police even met personally with Barbara's parents and pledged to be more forthcoming going forward. They even announced that once the river thawed in the spring, not only would the search resume, but it would be expanded with search and rescue teams to Miskolc, Hungary, joining in. When they saw the report, it said the first report made to the police by one of the boys came 10 minutes after the police arrived at their home to tell them about Barbara's incident. The police showed up to their doorstep at 10:15, but according to police reports, they didn't report the accident to the police until 10:25. The police failed to perform any drug and alcohol tests on the two either. The police finally pulled surveillance footage, but it did not capture much. The police said it showed them leaving a market and walking towards the bridge, but really it only captured them crossing the street and out of the camera's view. As they were out of his range, it could not capture whether they went right or left towards the bridge. Why they were at the market also hasn't been answered. Yeah, the police are playing games. And they're covering for the boys, or this third boy, that, in my opinion, that's what I'm thinking. They're covering for this third boy, but it said the two boys on camera. but you don't know if you can believe them now. That would be my whole thing about the situation. I don't know who to believe. And in those other countries, I don't think you can attack the police. I doubt it, because you'd probably be under the jail over there. You really can't attack the police here, but you would get away with it here in the U.S. But let's keep going. By February 27th, the ice had melted enough for another boat, complete with sonar, to scan and search the river once more for any traces of Barbara. They scanned up to 122 kilometers worth of river, but failed to find anything the previous searches didn't. By April 9th, winter was entirely over, and so another round of extensive searches had begun. Searches were conducted weekly, sometimes constantly, for 3 days out of the week. Almost every boat on the river was equipped with sonar. The search effort extended now as far as Obesk, and as promised, rescue teams from neighboring Hungary were brought in, and they were equipped with sniffer dogs. But I need to stop stopping. But by this time, like, they could have did anything with the body by this time, because if you're not finding her in the river, more than likely somebody has her by this point. And she's probably under the ground, or they burnt the body. They've done something where it's too long at this point. It's been a whole 4 months now. So, yeah, I don't know what you do in this scenario, especially in another country. In July, the first of what would be a reoccurring trend in this case occurred. Barbara's mother called one after another by a group of people who didn't know each other. All of them came from Greece and reported seeing Barbara, recognizing her from the Interpol notice. Greek police were contacted, but nothing more appears to have come from it. Yeah, that would be tough as a parent, because every kid that comes through, and let's just say Barbara had like red hair. Any kid that came with red hair, you'd probably be trying to pull them aside. And by this time, Barbara, you know where Barbara's at. Yeah, you try not to think of the worst. Well, honestly, man, I don't even know if you hope she died, because you would hope she lived just so you could see her again. But you don't know what she's going through. If she is alive, that would be the issue, in my opinion. But you wouldn't, as a parent, you wouldn't want your kid dead, though. You would rather have them live, but then the psyche, if they were still alive during this time, there's no telling what happened to this girl. So, it's just a tough situation altogether. On April 10th, 2018, her parents saw a brief snippet from a live stream, which featured in it a girl who appeared to be Barbara. Her family identified her both based on the eyes and a scar, but furthermore, when the names of her family and a dog were mentioned in the live chat, she had a visible reaction to them. Unfortunately, nobody knew where this video was being filmed. Around the same time, others saw her getting out of a Jeep with tinted windows. Yeah, and this is honestly part of the worst, because if she was dead, I don't have to worry about her being sex trafficked. And this is what I think. I'm pretty sure this is what's going on. Man, because they say a live stream, but that's the only thing I could think of. These leads were presented by public groups dedicated to independently tracking down missing persons. Barbara's father eventually went to Hungary himself to ask the local police, but none of the officers they spoke to claimed to even know who Barbara was. They even checked their databases for him, but no reports of Barbara ever came by them. When they returned to Serbia and said this to the media, the police said that the claim was an outright lie. Yeah, it's clearly a cover-up, and they done sold this girl off somewhere. Later that May, Barbara was alleged sighted in Timisoara, Romania. Let's just say Romania, by locals. Barbara's parents traveled to Romania and were joined by local police. Together, they searched all around Romania, Timisoara, including the rural terrain outside the city. Reports also came from Albania, Montenegro, Croatia, Bulgaria. Although the circumstances were unclear as to why, even the police in Switzerland had been contacted by her disappearance. Yeah, and by this time, if she's becoming like a big story, because I had never heard the story, but if she's becoming a big story, yeah, people are just sometimes people are evil and people are just calling in, and the parents are genuinely looking for their kid, and they just want to see her. They just want to see her again, especially if they're seeing her on video too, and they're saying that one. They said that I think they said the dog's name. They said her name, and she responded. Yeah, she's probably being brainwashed. She got sold. She's probably going different places. It's sad, and it seems like she had a really bright life ahead of her, according to what we're reading here. Hungary, though, remained the most promising country for their investigation, and Hungarian police investigated many leads of their own. Her parents also had so much faith in Hungary that they left Serbia and moved to Hungary. Honestly, I probably would have did the same if I thought my daughter was there. The police also promised that they would stand up for their daughter's case, an assurance they felt their local police wasn't giving them. It also seemed as if they themselves didn't believe she had fallen off the bridge and drowned. I wouldn't either. Their plans to move would fall through, and they opted to stay in Serbia. Dang. With how promising a lead Hungary appeared to be, missing persons posters of Barbara were posted all over the country. Another truly tragic development occurred March 5th, 2019. I was just, man. Barbara's older brother, suffered from a severe chronic disease. Oh, it said severe chronic diseases, multiple disabilities, and epilepsy for most of his life. On that day, he finally passed away from the hospital from what deemed to be AH1N1 influenza. He was 25 years old, and his family had lost a second child. By all accounts, they now seem to be alone. Yeah, that's would have been tough. Because honestly, I forgot about the brother, but I do remember it saying it being the brother's friends. But, man, I wonder if, it did say it was the brother's friends, so I wonder if the brother didn't really have any of this. Because now think about it, if it was part of the brother's friends that she was hanging out with, now the brother's feeling guilt too. And, when people are sad or they're in grief or let's just say depressed, illness and things like that, it really is a mindset. So things like that really do come upon people. So, man, and then parents, he basically lost a second child at this point. Later in 2019, several independent witnesses came forward claiming Barbara was working in the kitchen of a hunting lodge in Hungary, Tolna County. The police looked into hunting lodges throughout the county to try and find out the one she worked at, but to no avail. Barbara's parents then resorted to hiring private investigators, but they failed to bring them any new leads. In September 2019, pictures also surfaced of a woman in a nightclub. Those who saw those photos identified her as Barbara. By the time the police arrived at the nightclub, she was gone, and apparently not a regular, so they had little reason to suspect she returned. In mid-November, her father was sent a text message, complete with a photo of what appeared to be Barbara in a cafe in Budapest. See, this would drive me crazy as a parent, because I'm basically I'm selling everything to find her, and I wouldn't be able to sleep, and I'm sure they're not. I'm sure they're not. Yeah, because you don't know where your daughter is, and people are calling you. People are sending you photos, and and like I said, people are evil, man. Because one, Barbara she probably got trafficked. Like, if we're just being honest, she probably got trafficked, and then now you see her all these other places that people send you photos of, but it's like you're always one step away and you can never get there. And that's got to be the scariest, most sickening thing that a parent probably probably is going to experience, in my opinion. And then plus the death of your one son already. So, and then you're just having hope that she's alive at this point. The last sighting that was found on, according to the author, was in August 17th, 2020. An ambulance was called to the Rakoczy Square in Budapest because a woman had fallen ill. She was described as a well-groomed and was wearing a faded mauve-colored t-shirt with jeans, carrying a small crossbody bag. Responding paramedics recognized her as Barbara, and when she was brought to the hospital, the staff recognized her as well. She refused to give her name to the staff. Shortly afterward, she left the hospital before the police could show up. Why is she always leaving before anybody could show up? And does she not want to be found by her parents? That would be another question, too. Because if she's in, I don't know what's going through her psyche. I guess you don't know her background story with her parents, too. But it seems like her parents are selling out to find her. But during all these sightings, her parents said that since 2017, not a single institution in Serbia even contacted them once about her daughter's disappearance. And when they themselves reached out, the police offered no response. While the Serbian police believe she simply fell from the bridge and drowned, hardly any members of the general public buy that story. And as her case is still actively investigated in Hungary, it seems they don't believe that story either. As of now, the most popular theory is that Barbara Vitez is still alive, likely in Hungary, but whether she ran away willingly or perhaps kidnapped is unknown. I do want to give credit to the author. I believe the author on this one is Moondog 151. And they think somebody else, I think is Malina. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. But Barbara Vitez. Okay. Yeah. So it's interesting. It is interesting. It's interesting for the fact, two things. As a parent, I'm selling out everything to find my kid. And from everything we could tell, they are. But on the second hand, it seems like they're always one step from like finding her. And from what's being said, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just going off of what I read. It seems like it almost seems like she doesn't want to be found. I'm not sure why, because anytime her name's brought up, she doesn't want to bring up her name. It seems like she has very defining characteristics about herself, and she still doesn't want to be found. So I truly don't know what to make of this situation. Because on one hand, it seems like she was a very good kid. She was up on her studies, did well in school, wasn't problematic, was a good kid, it seems like. But I don't know. Was it the pressure got to her? Did something happen to her? That my suggestion, and don't take it verbatim, but I would think something actually happened to her, because I think that I don't know what to make of it, but it seems like something happened to this girl and she wasn't able to rectify or come to come with the what is the word I'm looking for? She wasn't able to make her situation. I don't know. She wasn't able to come with it, and maybe she thought after the fact that, let's just say something did happen to her. I don't know if something happened to her or not. Let's say she's alive. Let's just use a scenario. She's alive. Something did happen to her. That was written in that letter that we talked about. I'm pretty sure I can't use the word, but I'm pretty sure everybody can kind of get an idea of what I'm saying. So if something like that happened to her, she could not come to it for herself. She probably ran away thinking that she probably was no good anymore, because she probably was this perfect child, or in her parents' eyes, or she was great at everything. And then she had this thing, and she had probably her virginity taken from her, if I had to take a guess. And she didn't know how to come to wits with the situation. And so, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. You don't know how to. I don't think anybody would know how to handle that situation. From the parent's perspective, from the child's perspective, I still don't trust those boys on the bridge. I'll say that right now. I don't trust them boys from the bridge at all. I don't understand. I couldn't understand how the police really. It seems like they didn't care at all to even. It seems like what was the story? They were Serbian and they let them speak in their native tongue. And I've been like, all right, I'm hiring my investigator. We're going to carry out this case. And see, I don't know if that can happen because we would have to kidnap them boys. I'm just going to be honest with you. We would have to take them boys and they would have had to, I don't know. It would have been like some old military type stuff where it has old CIA type stuff where they can't talk about it. But you already know they extracted some information and they got their information somehow. That's how this situation would have to take place. So, yeah, because I would have to find my kid. And it seemed like that's what the parents are doing. they tried to move to Hungary, but it doesn't seem like they were allowed to. And her body never showed up, but you keep seeing her. You're getting these tips. You're getting these calls. That would be the toughest thing as a parent. I think it would be tougher. Would it be? My question would be though, would it be tougher knowing that she ran away? Or would it be tougher that she had been kidnapped? No, it'd be tougher she'd been kidnapped. Because I could never get access to her. Her running away. Still, I couldn't live with either one, but at least if I knew she ran away, nothing bad's happening to her. But that letter would have I guess you would if she shows up in the river, you have closure. Because you know what happens to her. At the end of the day, you don't like it. The situation's terrible, but you have closure at the end of the day. But this, you don't have closure because you keep seeing her pop up. And now you're like, oh, I need to go here. Oh, she's in Cameroon. She's in Cambodia. She's wherever. I can't find my daughter. That would be my whole thing. I can't find my daughter. And I need to find her. Man, first live stream. This is crazy. Unresolved mysteries. We're gonna be talking about a lot more stories. Barbara Vitez is the first one. Hopefully she comes home one day. If she is alive, hopefully she comes home one day. And so her parents don't have to worry too much longer. But yeah, it's 2024 now, and she went missing in what was it, 2017? Or no, 2016. She went missing in 2016, November 25th of 2016. Almost a decade at this point. That's crazy. But yeah, we're gonna be, well, let's say I will be doing more streams like this. Just finding stories that are interesting and just talking about them. And if you have any, questions or thoughts, I like to hear about them. It is definitely, it makes you think, put things in perspective, especially when you think about your kids and whatnot. So yeah, I would, questions, comments, anything. Yeah, definitely put them there. And I'll try to make this a regular thing. I'm still figuring out my schedule, obviously. I don't think people like streams 1 o'clock in the morning unless they're on the other side of the world. But I will figure that out. I just need to figure out my whole process and everything. But